All right, hello, hello, hello. Hope everybody's having a good morning. Sorry, getting a little bit of a late start today. The first webinar ran super late, and then I have Asher homesick today, and I had to get coffee. It's like I'm making coffee. Um, oh, here, Bullard speaking. This is kind of what I wanted to see. Removing monetary policy accommodation. Um, yeah, I'm telling you, he's going to take over. U.S. inflation running well above Fed's target. Yep. There you go. Current policy is exacerbating the inflation problem. 100% agree. Look at this, the rapid withdrawal of accommodation. So, yeah. So this is kind of like I said, I think Bernard is definitely putting himself in position to take over. Like I said, everything that more or less that he said has been true. He's like kind of like the Jamie Dimon of the Fed. And again, yeah, the inaction is making it worse. Whoops, I don't need to go to Twitter. It's making it worse. Yeah, we should have the rapid withdrawal of it, and inflation is running well above. Yeah, so I mean, this is, you know, must follow through on the rate cuts, the balance sheet runoff. Yeah, means that there's some question. So, yeah, thus far this morning, again, currency markets, you're on pounder down, nothing substantial. They're about a daily ATR to the downside. Dollar strength is coming back in. Again, we've seen this trend recently. As you can see, though, Aussie dollar more or less flat, even with gold coming back down again. Euro pound 11 is really nothing. There's no differentiating factor. And 6 in the pound yen means absolutely nothing. So, nothing crazy. 80.9 farmer change. Excuse me, it's a double double, right? They adjusted higher from last time and increased higher than what the expectation was. So that's a great sign, meaning that people are, um, obviously getting hired back or getting hired at a faster rate than expected. Um, it's not really jobs growth. I love when the one side of the aisle likes to can look at all the jobs we created. No, you're replacing the jobs that were lost. It's not creation. It's not above what we had before. Um, tweaking it, and being like, look how great we're doing is not, again, not true. Um, the amount of jobs that were lost before have still not been made up. So until we get above where we were before, you didn't create jobs. And again, anybody that believes that doesn't really understand what any of these numbers mean. Um, Bullard speaking right now. Again, we're going to see things coming through. We're wrong-footed and we need to get moving. Look at this. Even Evans. Let me see what this is. Um, inflation is likely to, but yeah, again, higher. We might see the moves in the next several meetings. Yeah, yeah. So even Evans is kind of like, yeah, we're not doing it right. So we'll see. Oh, hold on. Go back. I just saw them. Russia finance minister sees gold as alternative to USD. Yeah, eh, maybe. Maybe. Just trying to see what that looked like. There was a great article out this morning. I don't have the link on here. It was on my phone. I mentioned it with the Nadex group. Basically talking about how Ukraine has been a hotbed for both illegal, legal and illegal crypto transactions, with the banks being shut down, with everything going on. That people needed access to money, and yeah, I mean war zones are a little bit different. That's not really the proving ground. Basically saying that people are making those donations, but at the same time, if you're going to shut down Russia, they basically Binance has refused to shut off transactions from Russia. Okay, basically saying that no, this is not what it is. If they did shut it off, then the entire crypto thing is a farce. If they did shut it off, so they can't. But this also at the same time shows the fallacies of the crypto market. If you create something that is outside of the global government forces, what's to say that Putin didn't put his 600 billion or whatever the heck it is and all his oligarchs? What if they didn't start moving to crypto earlier? Right? Is the rising crypto prices Russians purchasing crypto? Right? Again, think about it. If the ruble was starting to go down and it's starting to get blown up, why not just hedge it? Right? If you could buy cryptos, right, instead, and if that's going to become the new Russian currency, just what if they say Bitcoin is going to become the new Russian currency because you can't put sanctions on Bitcoin, right? Um, doesn't bode very well for the crypto market. And that's what Russia kind of says is kind of doing right now. So we're seeing it there. And again, the fact that there are countries requesting that Binance, the largest crypto broker in the world, cut off Russians from it, just goes to show you that very interesting time. right? Very interesting world. So we'll see. And again, my opinion on it is, I've never, I can honestly say right now, I still have never purchased a single cryptocurrency. I do believe that all nations will have digital versions of their currencies now. I think that absolutely, without a doubt, is coming. But just the true nature of the idea of, hey, listen, we're not gonna, I don't want to be tracked and I don't want to report back to a nation. Great, you're going to get audited. Countries want to make sure that they get their tax money, and if there's any type of vehicle that you could circumvent, sanctions or illegal money laundering, yeah, like I can tell you guys, like I do hold a license currently right now, um, and the anti money laundering stuff is absolutely unreal. Like, if you guys have ever done it, I think you can actually get it for free online. But if you guys are curious, kind of what financial services, like what you have to deal with, go do like and even if it's a couple bucks, it's worth it. Go do an anti-money laundering training, and you can hear like they ask you questions. It's like, oh, well, they'll use crypto to do this, and then this person invested over here. Like, man, these schemes are crazy, but they all come from real life examples. So very interesting to think. I mean, there are some really, really smart people out there. And, some of the things that they do, you're like, wow, how did they think about this? These are like diabolical geniuses. I mean, again, it creates more trading opportunity for us, but it's just unbelievable. Like some of the things that like, well, like I mean, if somebody asked me that, I would have done that. And it's actually money laundering. So, it's definitely a weird thing. Now I know, Joel doesn't get on these things, but I got to tell you, I laid into Todd this morning about some of the Nadex products. The crypto, he didn't mention it. I'm not sure why. I don't know exactly why, but the crypto deal is done. IG no longer owns it. They've officially signed the paperwork. So Nadex is now officially owned by crypto.com. He mentioned it kind of at the end because somebody brought it up, but he's like, we're not going to make a big deal about it. I'm like, okay. There is supposed to be new things coming. I don't know anything concrete, but I do know with that deal transaction, they are obviously going to have a crypto product. That's what I laid into him about, and I told him that, basically told him that, hey, listen, you know, he mentioned kind of what he thinks is going to happen. I was like, yeah, great. I'll believe it when I see it, and you need to fix the products you currently have. And he said that there are new people in charge that all the products are going to get fixed. So we'll see. But we're just kind of annoyed that they can't fix their current products and they're adding new ones. And yeah, jumped into him today, and I said, you need to fix these. But there are some things coming that that he has mentioned that could be, they're just rumors. So I don't want to talk about them, but it looks like there will be some positive changes coming. So we'll see. Um, Back to the charts right now. I would say, uh, 10 o'clock, we're going to see Canada raise. We kind of expected that. I'm curious to see what their statement says to give us kind of a further look in. Yesterday, I mentioned seeing the dollar CAD go up is a great thing. Again, dollar CAD is up, yet oil is just blowing it through the roof right now. So, again, this rate hike, again, could this be moving in preparation for the rate hike? Yeah, it could be. Absolutely. So, it could be a decent setup. Um, but I want to see kind of what their statement is like. Are they going to raise it again? Right, is kind of what I'm looking for. Whether it's a hawkish tone, because again, the United States is, yeah, we're going to raise. We don't, everybody says they don't really, we're not really exposed. Like, is Canada really exposed? Like, is it a big deal for Canada to be exposed to the Ukraine? Not really. I mean, I don't think they're buying a lot from the Ukraine or Russia. All the oil that they produce, we buy in the United States. So oil prices higher is only better for Canada. There's not really any reason why they couldn't have a very hawkish tone, right? I mean, think about it. They know oil's not coming down anytime soon. Their forecast looks good. So we could get a double here. And again, this could be a nice little short in the dollar CAD. Oil inventories, right? Again, I'll cover this in the oil section at the end, but man, that's a huge miss, right? This is the little primate with the dart again, this 2.7 or 2.8 forecast, and it came in at -6, right? Look at it. Um, 10 p.m. It's just, ugh. I can't even watch it, guys, without getting triggered. I'm gonna tell you right now. Just watching it, it's like, oh my god, you know. Uh, yeah, it's funny seeing the general speak. Yeah, we're strong. Yeah, okay. The -6.1. So that's a big difference. We'll see what today's official numbers look like. The adjustment right now on this one is that it's a 2.5. They're already expecting really, really negative. If that comes in as a -6, if it gets even close, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit more of a pop. Now, we are at weekly supply. Again, we're in weekly supply back from 2011. If we jump $3 more, we haven't seen these prices since 2008. And you guys remember what happened back then. So, you know, look at this. Inflation is extremely high. So this morning, oh, what was that OPEC? I just saw it. 26 OPEC and non-OPEC mission concludes. Yeah, okay, that's fine. We should get some more headlines out of this. Nope, don't care. Um, yeah, they are. OPEC is not increasing, so we already know that today. That OPEC is not increasing the 400, and this is what happens when you piss the people off in charge of that. There's no doubt, right? Look at this Russian millionaire CEO offers $1 million for Putin's arrest. Um, it's so funny. All right, so whatever this guy will probably disappear, right? Labeling as a war criminal. It's like, yeah. Hold on, I got to look at it now. All right, so this guy. So keep track of this one. This guy, Alex Kanahan, whatever. He's paying $1 million for any officer to arrest him. Okay, so I believe at this point in Russian, this is considered treason. So yeah, yeah. Yeah, maybe if he said like $1 million for like assassination, but saying arresting him, it's like you for what? For what kind of war crimes? Like, just for attacking another country is not a war criminal. Like, I don't know that he understands what a war criminal is, but yeah, I don't know if I'd quite go there yet. But yeah, so when this guy disappears, guys, don't be surprised. Um, no flex stagflation. Yeah, so that's it. I think that's funny. $1 million. Like, I don't even like. It's a yeah. I'm sure that the Ukraine would match that $1 million and maybe make it like many, many more. So, I mean, it's $1 million. Like, it's nothing. Um, so we'll see what it looks like. First thing tomorrow morning as well, we have the unemployment claims number. Again, it's 223. I wouldn't say it's a kind of a no brainer. It's not going to be any of a big deal. Um, But like the biggest headlines we're going to see today is obviously coming from Bullard. Any speeches coming from additional comments from Powell is going to be big, and then oil inventory, and it should level out. Did Putin actually declare war, or did he just start? No, it's actually not. Um, the U.S. hasn't declared war since the 40s. Maybe he's following suit. Yeah, I don't know. They did acknowledge. So I did see this morning that they are saying that it was a war in Afghanistan, right? I mean Iraq, right? I believe we did declare war on Iran, right? I feel that was a declaration. I don't know. It happened so fast. I don't think we needed to. It was over before we had to. Because remember, presidents can send troops up until a certain time, and then you need congressional approval for it. Like I think you. I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong. If anybody knows out there, type it in chat. I think it's you have 30 days that you're allowed to send forces until you have to get congressional approval for it. I think that's what it is. And like I said, any of the Gulf Wars, they were done in like what, 48 hours? It was over. So I believe, yeah, I think it's 30 days is what you can do. Um, yeah. So anyway, we'll see headlines, but I think the Russian delegation. I mean, there's a little bit of talk I saw just a little while ago, basically that the Russian delegation was going to go, is talking peace talks. Here, yeah, Russian delegation has left for talks with Ukraine. I mean, they've been talking for 2 days, so it's kind of like, okay, right? Let's see. At the end of the week, right? So I love it. New Russian Ukraine talk possible end of this week. And the first comment, 3 whole days. Lots can happen in 3 days, right? Probably too early for covering a rally, right? So, yeah, yeah. We're great at bombmanship, but not actually winning wars. Yeah, yeah, we're good. We can, yeah, yeah. I jumped on Todd about that one yesterday. He's like, "Oh, Russia bombed a building." I'm like, Todd, I'm like, we don't want to go there. You know how many people we've killed, civilians we've killed with cruise missiles? Like we can say, hey, listen, there was a $10 million missile that we just fired and killed 5 civilians. So I don't really think that we need to be talking about how they're targeting civilians. Like it's urban warfare. Yeah, when we do urban warfare, we kill innocents. Like I mean, that's just the nature of it. Like you can't, like you can tell them to leave, but like, yeah, we've killed a few innocents. Yeah. So anyway, let's go over the charts. I'll be derailed all day. I'm like really triggered this morning. I don't know why. It's just, yeah, it's one of those mornings. Very triggering. Very triggering. Anyway, so we've been talking about this level up top. Again, we saw some bounces off this level yesterday. Again, we hit it late last night. This is kind of the old. This was kind of the State of the Union speech, and again, we're seeing gold get pushed down, or not gold, but the Aussie. So, mentioned it's a level. We talked about it yesterday. The trade is kind of already triggered at this point, twice. Late last night at about what 10 o'clock. Yeah, about 10 o'clock, it triggered once, right? And that was the reaction. It kind of was a whipsaw back and forth for the State of the Union and pushed back down to a basing level that we talked about. It's hit it again, which is awesome. At this point, I would say, listen, this level has held quite firm. We can kind of adjust it down a little bit to really grab a meat, the meat of the kind of the basing level. I would say at this point, I'd be looking for shorting opportunities if we can get a clean break of this. What do we got here? 72.43. And again, base, lot of basing in there, right? Hit it again, driving deep. Eventually, this will become an area where sellers are going to step in. And we do have a decent amount of run to the downside. So, like I said, we need to see the correct entry for it. A 1 to 3 doesn't really take it that far. 1 to 3 is putting it there, which is right down where this pop is, which is again close proximity there. So, it's a level where I'd say, hey, listen, we can throw an alert on this one. Is it going to be a one-time alert? No, it's going to be it's going to be a confirmation, right? Let's see, let's do this. I'll say, um, confirmation entry Harry Potter. Uh, AUD All right. So we'll throw that in there. Again, I think I don't know. Like I said, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know when it's going to hit, but next time we get a break of that level, I would like to know about it. I want to see what it looks like. Are we going to base in there? Is it just going to be a quick little dab, which is not an entry for us, or are we going to drop a base sideways and then look to take that one for short? Also, again, as you can see, we did complete the trade from yesterday, the one that kicked in, again yesterday morning, and it did complete yesterday at about 10. What did it hit? What's the official? Actually, I guess the official was 8 o'clock, but we did kind of come. But we marked it off. I mean, this one hit at about 2:30 yesterday afternoon. It wasn't really an entry, but it was an area that we kept yellow. When we were talking about a potential reversal. We needed a confirmation, and it did. It popped up and it kind of gave us a base over here and then a pullback. So there was actually a long entry that triggered at about 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. What about 3:45? So there was an end of the day trade in this one in the yen, and it rallied all the way back up, and we're in the same level now. It, I would say with this one coming at session open, it was kind of set up for kind of more of a short, but it's like, we're coming up and we based right here. So I was like, you know what? When I saw this 8 o'clock base, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely not gonna, you know, it really took a lot of away from me because we found some buyers here. We came up and we based right before the level. Whenever you have that battle before the level, it tends to go higher, right? And it did. It came back up. It hit those sellers and pulled back and ran right into those buyers, and that's where it started to form a base and is pushing up. So really wasn't a second entry for me. So um, we don't need that line right now. We can take that line off. I would say right now the big question is: will the buyers run out of steam, and will we reverse, and will we get a new top in here? Right now, I would say, yeah, kind of more bearish focus. But do I have a trade entry in LCN right now? No, not right now. Um, you know, Again, that basing before the level is one of those signs that I'm kind of like, yeah, you just downgraded yourself as far as an entry goes. So I mean, we had the one good tested entry in, and then again, we fought, and again, the question is now, will the yen step in and help us? So I still like the 82.70 down below. I kind of want to see how we're going to form a new level here. We do have levels a bit higher, right? You can see we have a couple levels up there, but I'd really like to see something fresh. I'd really like to see a fresh level up here, a fresh top on it. If it does pull back, that candle's okay. That may be the new level, right? It may be. Let me actually bring this back to a 30-minute. Yeah, it's okay. I'm all right with it. If this is it going to be the new top? But again, that'll give us a new level. But I'm waiting for it right now. So, euro pound, right? Euro pound continuing to just decline a little bit, and not surprising. I mean, this is pound strength coming back in. It's not massive amounts of pound strength. We were looking for this to come down. We know we have tested levels down here, the 83, 83.07, and that's exactly what we're coming off of right now. There is some data over here, and these are new COVID cases. I don't think the new COVID cases are really gonna. It's considered a medium. I mean, at this point, everybody, COVID is COVID. I mean, we kind of know what we're dealing with. I wouldn't say there's any major movement that we need to focus on. We do have a level a bit lower, and remember, this level right here, this is a spiky level. Buyers have stepped in the past. They have pushed it to the brink. And actually, let me go back to. Do we see it on a 2 hour? No, we can't go to a 2 hour. Let's go to a 4 hour. Yeah. So here's the problem with this. Down here, when we get into the 83 range, again, spike into 83 or 82.70 and we popped and then it tested, right? Then we came over here, and again, this is back in February 2020. We spiked in the 83 range and bam, it supported itself. So where we are right now, let me go all the way across. We are also doing the same thing. We spiked over here into the 82.90 range. We spiked back up again. So this is an area where historically 83 is a magic number with the euro pound where we seem to really find buyers, and it's happened again and again and again and again. Trading wise, is that the best place for us to go long? Not really, right? Is the scenario different right now? Yes and no, but remember, I mean, this has really been kind of choppy back and forth. I mean, you can see it's spent a lot of time here. Really, back until December, we've been stuck in this range between really 84.50 and 83.25 ish, kind of where we are right now. Is there anything fundamentally that's going to change? Is the pound that great of an economy right now? Like, are they doing wonderful? I mean, they're raising interest rates, sure. But remember, the EU has not raised interest rates because of Ukraine, and they were talking about pushing it into next year. Here's the annual inflation, and it's higher than expected, right? It's expected to rise to 5.8. It was only 5.1 in January. It's accelerating. If the Ukraine situation suddenly starts to resolve itself and they start talking about it again, which they have to. I mean, 5.8 is getting ridiculous, especially when they're, with the, it's getting out of control. Rising interest rates is going to bring more strength to the euro, which is absolutely without a doubt signaling long opportunity. So I think the way that we need to play euro pound right now is if we can get it again, using it as a proxy to trade the euro dollar pound dollar, I think is awesome. Again, with the euro being weak, you would trade that more against the dollar, right? With the pound being stronger, you don't want to trade strong pound versus strong dollar. You trade strong dollar versus weak euro. But I do think there's going to be a buying opportunity. If we can get a decent level of basing down here, I think we look to go long. If Ukraine starts kind of stabilizing and they're talking about peace deals, again, I think those are opportunities to go long the euro because it's being hurt right now because of the close proximity. Okay. So kind of what I'm thinking, more of a fundamental thing, not a technical thing. But again, with the beat down, 83 has just been a magical number throughout history in this pair. So it's just one of those things that, is it going to go to 70? No, there's no real justification, So it's just one of those magical levels. That's kind of like the yen. The yen has specific levels where their central bank intervenes. Okay. Now here's the euro yen. So yesterday we were kind of drawing this one off. And interestingly enough, we kind of drew some fib levels in it. This is a 4 hour. Let's go back down to our 30 minute. You can see yesterday when we drew this, we mentioned that there was going to be two sticking areas. One was going to be the 23.6, and that's kind of where we took the bounce late last night. We came back down, kind of tested the bottom. We can adjust it a little bit, right? It's more or less the same bottom, same buyers, and we've pulled up again. Really, I'm still looking at the 50. There's a lot of hiccups in here. The euro's going to have a hard time, but we're already seeing some euro strength come back in again. This was a level that we were kind of looking for Harry Potter. You can see that we got a base here, base here, base here, base here, base here, base here, and then we slice through. This is kind of a magical level right around this 128 to 129 level. I think if we can get up, you can see there's a bunch of different news coming in. And again, COVID case is not going to be a big deal. Foreign stock investment in Japan, sure, I guess. This final, not a big deal. Consumer confidence in Japan, yeah, that could be good. We have market comp, great, not a big deal. And then boom, we have unemployment and consumer confidence. Okay, so those are bigger data points that are going to necessarily matter. If we can get any pop, that could be a level where we definitely see some sellers stepping back in. Old buyers become new sellers. We just haven't had the opportunity to test that, as well as running top to bottom with fibs, right? We already know that this was a level that price really, really liked price action wise. Switch it across. What do we got? Kind of the same thing. We take our top to bottom fibs, super easy draw. Even the most basic fib traders are going to be able to draw that one. We're popping right up in the 50. And again, our 61.8, we also have sellers up there. So I definitely think it's a level you should watch out for. It's something that, keep an eye on it. We got a bit of a racetrack running in there, but right around that 28.75 is going to be a decent level to look at. Okay. And again, price action, supply and demand trader, I'm looking at that level because of the basing. Fib-based traders, they're also looking at that level because it's right at a 50% retracement. And again, top to bottom, you can see right where the buyer stepped in here and here. And look at this, right on there and here and here. They love it, okay? Aussie dollar. So or euro dollar. We're looking at euro dollar to get some type of a pop. Stay the U.S. traders came on. I'm sorry, European traders came in line right here around three. They kind of pushed it down first before going higher. And again, we're seeing more dollar strength. Um, we need some more European news before this one comes up. I think, again, right now we have sliced through the buying area, but it did kind of confirm. It kind of peeked its head through and then confirmed off of it. I wouldn't say that really anything that Powell said this morning is super surprising. But I will say, again, we need a little bit more. We need something. Right now it's still everything he's saying is yes, more dollar strength. Um, if he makes comments, and again, Bullard is obviously going to be dollar strength. If he makes any comments at all at this point about we may not do as much, or it's going to be as soon as he didn't signal anything about rates today, which again leads me to believe it's probably going to be pulled back to 0.25. A 0.25 is a weak dollar announcement. Again, looking for the euro to go higher, or again, it is it is 3 days away, but peace talks, and if Europe starts to stabilize and there's a ceasefire, I mean, again, you know what Russia wants? Russia wants the not really denuclearization. I mean, I guess it's demilitarization, but he basically wants it, NATO to not infringe. If the Ukraine agrees that, and again, Russia has agreed that them joining the EU does nothing for them militarily. It's a financial agreement only, right? It is not the European Union is not a military pact. It's an economic pact. He said that that's fine. That doesn't threaten me militarily. I think that's the path that that's going to go into, right? That there'll be some type of assurances. Because at this point, he needs to save face in the whole process. Um, we'll see. So again, any peace talks, I think we get European strength. I still think this comes higher. I'd like to kind of see what all these data points look like, but right now we're starting to get that confirmation. And again, if we run fibs on this one, and just kind of see where levels are. I guess if we did really the high, this week's high to low, you can see that there is a little bit of drama at the 50. So again, I'd watch out for the 111.54. Again, it is a level. I mean, there's actually two. There's a small level at 50 and a small one at 61.8. So just watch both those levels. Pound yen. So pound yen, we didn't really. I mean, I guess we could have said, yeah, we got a little bit of base and a pullback. Once it started basing in there is where I would have got concerned on there because it did push back up again. So we were looking for this to go lower. Instead, we got pound strength coming higher. So we'll remove it now off the border. We need to adjust our fibs down a little bit. And you can see we're at a level where we said, hey, listen, we got basing, big drop. That's where we're at right now. It's kind of in no man's land fibs-wise, so it's not an algorithm-based trade right now. I would actually expect this to roll a little bit down. And the reason why is because since the Europeans stepped in, all right, let's get our handy dandy tool right here. European market opened right here. Okay, we've had nothing but pound strength coming in. And now the UK traders are getting ready to cycle out. It is at that 10:30 time frame reversal area. We do know that we have sellers sitting right over here, right? We have sellers with descending wicks right there. We're sitting right at that level. If I had to draw a level here to sell off of, it would be right there. So we are kind of right there. I mentioned this as a level to watch out for yesterday. Is it my favorite level? No, there's not. There's some of there's some factors that are just not there for me for it. But I would say that it is a time where you could see potential shorts. Why? Again, UK market's coming to a close. You're going to have profit taking because it was basically just straight up in the European session. There has been sellers there in the past. We saw them in here. They had these ascending wicks down. So it is a potential trade setup for anybody looking for a pound yen based trade, and it'd be something along those lines. 1 to 3 is only right there, so it's not even anything gigantic. And again, there's buyers right there, so it's in the right spot. It's about a 50 pip runner. Pound dollar. So pound dollar from yesterday, 3 a.m. Again, it was a trade in the overnight, playing off the gap, playing off the confirmation. It's well out right now. Yesterday morning, we marked kind of a level down here, and again, I just drew this right. Um, this was right around, I guess, would have been 11 o'clock. So we finished up here. Actually, yesterday was Tuesday, so yeah, we did do the 12 o'clock. So this is what we drew yesterday. You can see it kind of took a little base, and then it based again in there, and then it kind of came back in and based again to take off. So we do have it. It's funny. We drew the fib level all the way down. You can see it went to the exact same spot, right? This candle, and I'll just move it across. You can see that the same buyers that saved it here are the same buyers that saved it here. So right now, I'd look at this and say, let's take a low to high draw. You can see we just bounce off the 50 on this one. And it makes sense, right? European session started here, right? And this is kind of what I just mentioned with the pound yen, right? European session here, straight up, tag the 50. So again, Algo traders would have stepped in on this one, and that's why it's starting to push back down. There's not really a true defined level, so it wasn't a trade setup for me. But with this one hitting a level and having it push back down again, that also signifies that this actually could be where the trade is. And again, here, not a fib level. There is no, there's no push on this one, right? There's no algos here, but what happens in the pound dollar tends to carry over into the pound yen as well. So kind of makes sense for that one to kind of push down. Dollar CAD. All right, so dollar CAD, we had a level, and again, this one kind of pushed back and forth. It came up and it based, and you can see that we mentioned that we had another level just a little bit lower. I mentioned yesterday expect CAD weakness, right? We talked, or I'm sorry, CAD strength. Looking for this one, dollar CAD coming down. It ended up using the level just a little bit higher, the 61.8 level. But on this test right here, again, you adjust it up, right? We push down. We're trying to get the most recent level, of basing. Originally, there it was. This one got blown up. There's our basing. You can see right here, 3 o'clock this morning. And I mentioned this yesterday as well. Everybody was expecting the CAD to raise rates. Let's see what it is. It should be officially in. There you go. Officially in. And what I said yesterday was watch the European session, right? UK traders are going to look at this and say, hey, listen, we need to prepare for this ahead of time. It's most likely going to happen. We can probably put it in advance. And that's exactly what happened, right? Starting at 3 o'clock with the European session, which is right here, the red candle, they said, hey, look, CAD's going to raise. It's going to be more popular. Let's start putting some strength into it right now. The market pre-positioned itself, and you're seeing a little bit of a pop. And you may say, "Hey, wait a second, they just raised interest rates. Why is it going higher? Why is there weakness?" Because the market already took advantage of it. This was a nice runner from there down, talking about 70 pips from that European session. So again, easily telegraphed, especially when it rallied right up before the open. Great trade, and again, it's turning where it should. At this point, look for it to come back down again. Eventually, the fundamentals of retail traders will catch up. Look for the base. Look for a break of 126.48 all the way down to 126.11. Again, easy trade in the overnight. Dollar Swiss. So dollar Swiss just pushed up. Okay, we talked about this yesterday. We weren't really interested in taking a long off of that. It was a target, but it did base and it did go higher and kind of went sideways. And we mentioned that we had a small level up here that was in close proximity to 61.8. It was above the 50. It is definitely a supply zone. Again, it held in one candle and pushed down. You're seeing that pull off right now, right? It is reversing. I would say right now this is probably not the worst trade. It's a little bit. You're already about 1-to-1 in the trade setup if you took it from yesterday. And like I said, for the people that like to trade the Swiss, this is probably a pretty easy one for you guys to grab to the downside. It is 10:11 right now, so it is in that kind of U.S. reversal based time frame. Really, from this 4:30 time frame up, it was, we had nothing but straight up from 4:30. Now is when we tend to see those reversals, particularly with the dollar. So it's already kind of entered. So again, do you want to get into it when it's already 1-to-1? Probably not, but it's definitely something I know some of you guys out there are going to be in. We talked about it yesterday. Um, Dollar yen. So we ended up getting the push down and we ended up finding the bottom of it. Again, our full profit target was 114, but we knew we had buyers stepping in right here. Again, this is where we launched. This is where we said, hey, listen, your profit target's got to be down in here. We actually originally drew the profit target. Let's see how it worked. Right there. We talked about the red. And again, you guys see how it rode along there and kind of touched it on the top side. So again, those were the correct areas. Those were the correct buyers. So let's remove this. Do we need this one now? Not really. We're kind of flirting with this one right now. I would say for me, this one is still kind of bracketed off. I'd say the 115.86 is still a decent level. It's got to chop through a bunch of junk in here. This actually, I'm going to move this up just a little bit so you guys can see it. This is kind of where the move started from, and that's kind of what we're running into right now. I guess if you want to be pretty aggressive, you could look for a short on this one. Again, there are buyers there. It did accelerate off that level. It is 10. We're in that reversal time frame, and it really kind of was straight up, really since late last night. So there's a trade there. I really like the 115.86 better. Really more of an area that I'm looking for. And I am starting to like the 114 down here even more. I'm going to change it back to a white. Reason why is the hidden kind of buyers that are sitting inside of this area, we've now hit them a couple different times. So, next time we come down, when it finally breaks through, there's going to be a support and resistance trap in here. And what are they going to do? It's going to go through. People are going to see that, and then it's going to spike through and kind of take them out on the top. So I do think there's a trap lined up, but we got so much room to run at this point. You're talking about 80, 90 pips. This pair doesn't move 90 pips in a day on a typical basis. So we got a lot of room to run there. Let's go across and we'll do Let's see. I don't know what oil's doing yet. Yeah, oil's pulling back from that weekly level. So right now in the 30-minute, oil is pulling back. Now, I'm going to say this with a grain of salt. A lot of this data right now doesn't necessarily matter. We know that the API report right now is a huge down draw, hence why oil is going up in the overnight. We also know that OPEC kind of has stabilized it, right? So with it pulling back, the big question is, all right, so if we're doing our 35 and 1, this is an area that we need to look for, right? We don't have any stabilization. We got about 15 minutes to go, but we know even on the smaller time frames, we got kind of stabilization levels here. We're starting to bounce off of that level. The problem with this one today, okay? The API number is calling for a huge downdraw. The API and the EIA numbers are separate data points. They're basically along the same lines. There's so many other factors. And the problem with this one is you'd love to say, well, wait a second, Brian. It's setting up for a long right now. It's a 30-minute level. We're pulling back. We're starting to kind of show some bounces off that level. We can actually refine this a little bit and put it even a little bit lower in there. This should be a long, right? The problem with going long here is we can see that the level that it just bounced off of was a level on a weekly chart. Okay. Remember, higher time frame charts always trump lower time charts. Okay. So that's the one problem with trading this long today. Um, do I believe that oil it has more room to run up? Yes, I absolutely believe that oil has more room to run up. Um, Biden's message about we're going to release more. What did he say? Was it 30 million barrels? I think it was 30 million barrels. Uh, Hold on. I think it's 30 million barrels. Where is it? Pair remarks. I think he said it's. I think it's 30,000 barrels. Um, he's talking about NATO. I love it. It's. I don't want all the marks. I don't want to go through an hour of it. So 60. He's going to release 60 million barrels of oil. Okay. Look to see how much oil we use per day, right? How much is processed in the United States, right? It says Biden said he planned to release 60 million barrels of oil reserves, including 30 million from the U.S. I think he said strategic oil reserves. Is it in here? Yeah. So, um, let's see. How much oil does the U.S. use? Does the U.S. use per day? I want to say, yeah. So on average, we use 20 million barrels a day. So we're going to release 60 million barrels. All right. So that helps us out for 3 days, just so everybody keeps, it basically shows that I would say is it, for lack of a better word, it's an anemic response to the situation that we have right now. And yeah, so Biden is releasing 3 days worth of oil to try to kind of stabilize price. So I do think oil goes higher. Is it worth getting into this one pre-market? I mean, right now on the 5 minute, yeah, it is bouncing off of a zone. We can see that zone. It did pull back before news, right? But we all know what the kind of the API number is already going to look like. We know what the API number looks like. So again, US trader is sending it straight down into a level. Yeah, it's kind of more set up for that. But again, it's expected to be a big number today. And thus far, you know, my only concern is the weekly level right above. So watch out for that one. Well, it's pulling back big. Natural gas is also pulling back. And again, not surprising. Natural gas has been really in this upward trajectory. You could say that there's definitely a channel here, kind of the impulse correcting back and forth again. Um, Again, natural gas has got a little bit more room to run. Can it turn and flip anywhere in here? Sure. Natural gas inventories aren't until tomorrow. We don't have any true sellers coming into this one until this 488. There's just kind of minor levels here. Um, you know, People may look at this and say, well, wait a second, it's not, this was going strong up top, but we were going at a trajectory here. Now we're starting to go sideways, right? Yeah, you could say that. I mean, draw it from the second point in there. You could say that it's kind of consolidating in. It's not quite there for me yet. I would say wait for it to go just a little bit more, and then it's probably a decent sell as we, start talking about warmer temperatures. But we still don't know. There's still so much up in the air. And again, Russia is absolutely without a doubt linked to natural gas. That's a big deal, particularly for Germany. So I think there will be some headlines on this one. I think natural gas also has the ability to go higher. And right now we're seeing profit taking from the European session. Okay. Yeah, oil is starting to. You see how oil on a 5 minutes really starting to have some problems here. So it did pull back. Gold. So gold is stabilized again. European session. What did we know here? We knew that they were, we knew that people were going to start talking. UK traders said, "Oh, wait a second, Powell speaking. We're going to raise interest rates. All right, he's crushing inflation. Let's go." Trade is obviously over at this point. I mentioned this. So I don't want to beat a dead horse in the Nadex section. Um, Again, this one is an easy one that you guys should have grabbed. There's your 1 to 3 right there. It's already over. There's not much we can do about it now. It is stabilizing as we hear more comments and as we get closer. Um, I think gold will probably have some movement for non-farm this week, just because again, if it is a big number, yeah, there's no reason why they can't pull back. I mean, it's really hard to just not trade this one at this point. So yeah, gold is out. I'm still bearish gold. Gold and silver are both kind of in the same category. They're stabilizing right now. They're bouncing exactly off of where they should, to these pullback levels. It's having some issues now. Again, it was a rally, sideways movement, and another rally. So again, we expected to hit it, and we did, and we bounced off of it again. I think both of these are absolutely sells. Are you going to get into them now? No. The trade was in the overnight. Let it stabilize itself, and then look after hours to be able to trade and get this one short again. All right. Let me check oil real quick. Yeah, oil is yeah, see how it's having issues with this level. It's really it's pulling back, and I don't even know. Let me see. Do we have enough room? Probably. Yeah, yeah, it's got room. There's 3 is right there. So yeah, it does have room to the top side for this oil release. Um, like I said, but everybody's already seen this huge number, so I feel like a lot of it's already going to be in. I feel like this one is not going to be you know, it's not going to be the ideal news setup for this week. Again, it came off of a weekly level, so there's a huge area of sellers up top. Leads me to I almost want to skip it today. Let's go into indices real quick. So VIX is dropping again. No real major news today, right? We don't have any major nothing. I mean, the last we heard is they're going to send a peace delegation, right? Um, mm, yeah, the last thing we had is a Russian delegation has left for talks in Ukraine. So it's more peace based right now, more peace based than anything else. So yeah, it would make sense why the VIX is coming back down again. So ES is up a little bit, right? ES, we talked yesterday about really kind of our 2 main levels that we like for the 43.81, the 42.43. You can see, I would say, our opening candle, would our opening candle, let me drop to a 15-minute. Um, let's see, 9:15, 9:30. Eh, I mean, I guess if you really wanted to trade something, you could have traded this one short, but I wouldn't say that this really, I mean, 8:45 and then at 9:30, we were opening here to push up into the selling. I wouldn't say there's really much in there. And again, remember today would have been risky with Powell speaking, talking about rates. It's really flat. I mean, it says it's up 0.6, but I mean, if you think about it, we opened here at 9:30. We're at the exact same spot that we opened at today. And the only reason it's up is based off of what the closing price was. So most of this was European action. And again, we're still kind of bogged in and sideways moving. So yeah, I mean, I would say I still think these 2 levels, let's move these forward just so it's a little easier to see. Um, yeah, I mean, there's no trend right now. So even on a 15, you're not really seeing any great levels forming. I think top or bottom we need to clear. You can see NQ was actually, red just a second ago. Um, NQ also hitting the same level. Was there a short here? Yeah, this one actually would have been okay. So, I mean, had you taken the ES short, I mean, here's 9:15. Let me see, 9:15, 9:30. It's not quite in the zone, and then it kind of burst through. So it wasn't quite there. It was close, but maybe maybe if you try to take this one real conservative, and like I said, I want to keep these conservative as possible. If you were trying to get into this one super conservative, you probably would have got stopped. Again, Nadex, you would have been fine. Futures, you would have got stopped out on the spike at 9:45. NQ, doing the same exact thing. Again, taking the overnight levels. Here's your 9:30 candle. You would have gotten entered, and let's see if this one, if you were out on it. 2 and 3. There's 3.02, and yes, you are out. So maybe you took one, maybe you took a loss on the ES, but NQ, you were absolutely already out with your 1 to 3 off the opening print. So again, that was a good one. At this point, I would say we probably bounce up a little bit. There's some buyers in here. This is not a strong level. I'm not saying take this one. We are getting close to 10:30. We do know there was buyers in there that stabilized this level before, so it could reverse up. But again, it's basically completely flat. Look, we're at 0.01 right now. So I wouldn't say that this one has anything major in it. But 15-minute setup again, you're one for one. I guess at this point you're up point two, or you're up point two. We had a level here. Now this is a weird one because at 8:45 we knew Powell was speaking this morning. This one we this one triggered in the European session and we were up 2.2. Okay. And then started to rally back based off Powell's comments. And the reason why I think this one rallied up off of Powell's comments was basically because he didn't mention the interest rate rise and the fact that they were going to just let things slowly run off the balance sheet, which is good for the overall stock indices. And again, it's kind of like if you're up two, if you're already up 1 to 2, you want to mess with Powell? I don't know. Either way, you should have already been in a trade, so this one was not an opening print qualifier. If you were in it, you probably got stopped out at break even. Again, you're not going to, you're not going to risk 2.2 to make point 0.8, right? Unless you don't know what you're doing. So this would not have qualified for it this morning. Hopefully, you guys were able to bank some money on it. But I would say, again, we have some stuff going on this level. For me, I'm still waiting for the 33,950 up top. I think that's a decent level. Actually, we could adjust this a little bit higher. Let's put it right there. Um, I think my next good area that I like down below is probably there, right? Yeah, probably there. Let's just give this one a. Let's box this one off. Mhm. Right there. Mm, and again, depending on what we have, I guess a case could be made for there, right? Again, we have some decent basing. Let's adjust it just a little bit. We're gonna adjust it to there and put it there. So I would say right now with where we are short wise, I would say look for a profit target taking down here at 33,146. And again, take a confirmation bounce off of it if you need to go a bit higher. Russell, again, Russell is up 1.6, 1.14. The reason why Russell is up for the most, again, Powell did not mention the point 0.5. He didn't even mention the 0.25 and said we're going to slowly let things come off the balance sheet. Even though they've been calling for the balance sheet for a while, again, that's extremely dovish information for the indices or for rising interest rates. So again, Russell is acting appropriately. This one did also not. I mean, I guess 9:30 opened here. Again, based off of Powell's comments, this one would. Although you could have said, "Hey, listen, I don't care about any of that." You could have said, "Hey, listen, there was something there." With Powell's comments, I absolutely would not have been trying to short the Russell, without a doubt. There's no reason, absolutely not. But worst case scenario, if you tried to short that one just because you didn't know that Powell was speaking, even if you did this one and you took a 1 to 3, you would have taken a loss on it had you stepped into it. It's really kind of flat from where we opened. But even if you did take the loss, if you traded all of these, if you ignored Powell, looked at zero fundamentals this morning, you took a -1 on the ES trade, you took a +3 on the NQ trade, and you took a -1 on the one Russell trade. So you would still be up +1 for the day. But again, you don't want to be going long Russell, or you don't want to be going short Russell after the comments that Powell made today. So I still think right now, again, downward side, I'd be looking for this 50% retracement down here at 90.76. Um, up top, we do have a level that was okay. It was all right. And again, that's sitting up here at 2057, right? Is it a simple short? Nah, I'd get a confirmation off of it. So, not bad. What's up, Kip? What's up, Kip? Melissa just brought Kip in. She's got a 10:30 this morning. So, but yeah, I mean, hopefully you knew Powell was speaking. Again, you should start every one of your day's analysis knowing what's going on for the day. Look, aim to move to more normal, perhaps tighter policy. Perhaps we'll do something tighter, right? Fed policies cannot address supply side challenges. Yeah, housing prices high due to labor and material shortages. As mortgage rates rise, housing demand will likely to begin to cool. Yeah, because inflation is primarily a monetary phenomenon, the Fed can intervene. Yeah, I mean he's right, but he hasn't done anything yet. So yeah, sometimes Powell makes comments and it's like, um, yeah, exactly. So yeah, so we'll see what oil comes in. Let's click back to oil real quick, and then we're gonna do the drawing for today. So yeah, we're kind of stabilizing there. It's trying. Do you see how it's having a hard time with this area? There's definitely buyers there. The question is how much is really baked into this number already. And like I said, my major concern with this one is the fact that we just bounced off a weekly level, which is those are going to be big people. Those are going to be big orders. Large institutional size. um, groups, but it has pulled back, from basically 9 o'clock down, knowing that we're gonna have oil inventory. Um, so far, the data we've gotten is that this is a long, so we'll see. It's gonna be probably a quick one. I just hope they don't. I love this. We're gonna try. Maybe we'll make tighter policy. Maybe. I mean, we're at 40-year highs for inflation. Maybe we'll do something. I don't know. Like what kind of like? I'm telling you, Bullard's gonna be like, "What are you doing? Get out! Leave! Like, what's wrong with you?" And it's funny. Bernard is nowhere here. She's like, "I'm not gonna say a word. I need to get in because you'll get continued, continuality with Bernard." But with Pal's inactivity, it's like, holy crap, they're gonna want nobody. Like, oh yeah. Whew. All right, so we obviously don't have this number yet. We'll see what oil looks like here. I gave you my kind of assessment on there. If you like risk, we're at a buying area. If you don't like risk, again, we just came off of a weekly level. There is room until we hit that weekly level again, but just be cautious about that one. It is a big number. Number was already out and exposed, so we kind of know what it looks like. So just because this number is so high, I feel like a lot of people are going to be like, hey, listen, we need to go long. We need to go long. We need to go long. And they're going to get blasted on the shorts on this one. Um, again, buying into a weekly level is not always the best. So we're going to give that a minute to kick in and we'll see what it does. Again, like I said, I think the shorts are probably going to win out on that battle. But let's go ahead and do the drawing real quick for today. Um, silent. Silent, we haven't seen you for a while. Good seeing you. Eki's in today. Everybody's in today. Wow, look at that. Silent, good seeing you, man. We haven't seen you for a couple. I was worried about you. I mentioned you the other day. I was like, you know what? We haven't seen Silent. Hasn't been here. Hope everything's all right. You never know in this. People stop watching, and you're like, huh. I hope they're okay. People get COVID. People get sick. It's good seeing you. All right, so let's close it down for today. See who the winner is. We got a bunch of tickets in here. Briggs won yesterday, right? You've been working a lot. Yeah. Hey, that's not a bad thing, man. Not a bad thing. Briggs won yesterday, so Briggs is going for 100. Everybody else is going for 50 today in the drawing. So winner of today's drawing is Briggs. So look at that. Briggs was able to take one. So Briggs is actually being positive. He risked 20 pip chips today and ended up making 100. So again, nice risk to reward there, Briggs. Let's go across. Let's see. Yesterday, I think he moved up to 60 something, right? 61 maybe. I'm sorry, 52. My bad. Let's see. This is going to be a big jump for you today, right? You were at 62 right there at 100, because again, that's your double win. Tomorrow's your triple win. Um, let's see, because that will get readjusted. So let's search 28. Look at that, man. You cut that sucker in half. You're almost on page one now, right? 162. Look at this. Right. What did I say? All right there, 164. Look at that. You were 40 points. You win tomorrow, you get your 250 tomorrow, right? That'll put you up at 410? 410? Look at that. That's dropping you right over here. Ooh, you'll pass Mitch. You'll be in 23rd. Look at that. Page one, baby. This is like it's like Latimer for what's it called? You guys ever see the program? Right? You ever see the program? It's like Latimer, right? Latimer, it's, seat at the table, starting defense. Oh, you can't see where it's at? Oh, my bad. I forgot it was on a different. It does the actual window. Come on, drag into the box. There, you can see it here. Yeah, I forgot. You guys can't see it. It's done off the actual Google window. But yeah. So, but yeah. So I feel like Briggs will get. I was showing you right here with the numbers. If Briggs gets that, he'll be at like that 410 range, 420 range. He'll be sitting right here between Mitch and Vanessa, who we haven't seen forever. I hope she's all right. So her significant other was getting like super into like, you should do crypto, you should do this. And then he tried to start selling classes. I'm like, wow, I've done mentor sessions with you and you have no idea what you're doing. And now you're teaching people. That's great. Lovely. Yeah, insane. Some people out there. But yeah, I feel like page one, Briggs is going to be like, how many more do you need to go to page one, Briggs? You need about 40 points. 40 points. So you're less. If you win tomorrow, you're definitely in. But if you didn't win it, a regular 25 is not going to work. So you need to attend 2 more days naturally, and you'll two or 3 more days will be, again, The program, Lattimore, starting defense, right? Seat at the table. And then you can go outside and like bang your head into a car, right? So, but yeah, so there's your oil push off of. What was the actual? I don't even know what the actual number was. What was it? Um, how funny is that? That's awesome. Look at that. Minus 2.6. Industry report, minus 6. Real report. So, I do still think it's appropriate to. Oh, look at this. He did say it. They asked them the question. Look at this. We do still think the approach is to raise it at 0.25 basis points in March. The market had factored in 80% chance of a point 0.5. Look at this. We will proceed with caution in light of the Ukrainian conflict. Even though he said earlier that we don't know what, we don't really have much exposure to it. The labor market's really tight. There we go. It's really tight, guys. The labor market. It's always the labor market, right? We hired more people back before. Look, we're hiring even more people back. More every time it's more, but the labor market is tight. Yeah, he's getting yeah, unbelievable. Look at this. Before the Russian invasion, the Fed was about to raise interest rates in March, with everything meeting still being live. But the labor market's really tight. If inflation stays hot, we could hike 50 points at a meeting. We're at 40-year highs, and man, we could, right? Yeah. So let me see Russell real quick, and then I got to get rolling. Yeah, Russell's like, yeah, we like it. Little pop, little pullback. Wait till everybody sees that one. So yeah, his comments right now. Awesome job for the overall indices today. So yeah, I would expect these things to again rally up. Look for possible short opportunities later on. So all right, with that said, I'm gonna get out of here today. Like I said, they're blasting him. I don't think that I feel like Powell has gotten to the stage right now where he doesn't realize that anytime he gets these questions, every single one of these comments is going to come back. When even if the market has not tanked, right, by the fall, and we are still seeing interest at 40-year highs, yeah, there's going to be some major finger pointing, but we'll see. All right, with that said, guys, I'm out of here. I'll catch you tomorrow morning again. We'll be on at 9:30 to 10:30 on Friday. I'm sorry, on Thursday. Tomorrow is absolutely a lesser day as far as kind of what we see. Powell's testifying again. We got some services data that's supposed to be a little bit more positive. And then again, obviously, the Bank of Canada just rose. Macklin speaking. Could be some more potential. And look at this. You're seeing that the CAD is really starting to. It was up 40. Now it's only up 30, 38. So again, everybody's in that interest rate rising environment. So with that said, you guys trade safe today, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Thanks for joining today.